Yo, welcome to the Hangout podcast.
Manze.
This is the recap kama kawaida.
Ini recap, this episode. Recap, it's a recap.
Yeah, this is the recap. This is not an episode. It's an all-white
recap.
All-white recap. Unasemaje?
Wataza fikia tulikuwa
Umekuaje jo?
Mimi niko fiti. Na tulikuwa tu hustling kama kawaida.
Niko kutafuta mado.
Manze, lazima utafute juu.
Unajua itabidi utani hivi juu. Sound yako kuna vile ukikaa na hivi na lost.
Sawa man.
Sasa nasema huyu jamaa ananga
sauti. Director.
Huyu jamaa ananga sauti.
Na venye ngoma zangu zimecheza huko nje.
Otherwise how have you been?
Mimi nimekuwa fiti. The state of the nation bado hainibambi manze.
The state of the nation.
Atuweke manze neema to watch man.
Nini kubambi? Unaonanga neema kwanza. Acha hizo nini unasema?
Atuweke neema juu so lazima proceedings inaudhi manze kwa screen. Juu tu politics, unajua mambo ya politics tu ni ku shift away the attention of the people from the main issues. Sasa tuna focus on tuarabishana hapo kwa screen kwa parliament.
But don't you think pia wanafanya tu kazi yao? Because they are doing their job, man.
The job ya hakuna job inafanyika kwa hii country in the last 2 years, bro. Which job?
No, Senate inafanya job yake kwa sababu that is what they are supposed to do when it comes to impeachment.
Talk about jobs. Jobs, jana hata wana jobs, bro. These people are gatekeeping jobs, man. Jobs zimejaa tu kwa wazee. We are forced to create our own to go self-employed because hakuna jobs. Wanasema they are doing their jobs.
You know, there's one thing I've noticed with young people. That young people, especially the youth, as much as whatever they are saying it's right, youth want a job. That's
a job.
That's a
people fact. Are graduating every year. Alafu unapata the rate of graduation is almost 1 million people every year.
It's okay.
Wanamaliza form 4.
This is my point. Whatever you are saying, you're just repeating yourself. We all agree, hakuna job.
Hakuna job.
You get.
Sad.
Yes, we all agree that and it is sad. But we must agree that we live in a society that does not only consist of young people.
But the young people are the majority, bro.
Whether they are the majority or not.
The young people are the backbone of the economy,
Can you first admit that fact that we don't live in a society that only consists of young people? Admit that fact, whether they are majority or not. Admit your fact kwanza.
Kwani what does it have to do with this?
Lazima tuna watoto na kuna watu wenye they are past their youth.
Now we're talking about economy. We're talking about jobs.
I want to address your issue now. At the end of the day, this economy, when economy is hard, it's hard on everyone. Unaelewa?
It's not hard on everyone, bro. Kuna watu wenye wako sawa.
Listen, yeah, there are about 10% wanaweza kuwa wako sawa of the economy. The 90% wako mbaya. But the fact that young people wako na ile mindset they don't want to listen. They don't want to come to the table and listen.
Which table? The table yenyewe imekuwa get kept with this watu wazee, bro. Like acha nikwambie, you're talking about the 90%. 10% wako sawa, si ndio? Let's say the 90%. And out of the 90% utapata 70% with the young people, bro.
Now listen,
the young people wamejaa kwa hii country, bro, and hao wanafaa kutu drive. Unajua, the young people kwa wazee. Siku no process, huwezi kwa mzee, huwezi kwa kijana all your life. So imagine all your life ile you hujakuwa na job. Imagine ukiwa mzee utakuwa in which situation?
Do you know why people get keep? Let me explain to you
why wanna get keep. Okay,
let me explain to you why people get keep. And I'll tell you, at some point I used to think like you, lakini nilikuja nika understand. I'm going to give you a good example. Right now you are doing what you are doing, yet you're still young. Sindio, we are young, both of us. Sindio, naweza kuwa niko a bit higher than you, but we are young. Sindio. So right now you are doing programming. You have a kid. Sindio. Unamraise hizi, at some point atakuwa teenager kaya. Sindio.
So teenager.
At some point atakuwa teenager. Ulikuwa teenager. At some point atakuwa youth. Acha tuseme hivi. So right now unafanya vitu to make sure that by the time you get to your 40 or maybe you are 50, unataka kuwa stable, right? Let's be factual. You're doing everything because at 50 you want to be stable. This energy yenye uko nayo at 50 utakuwa nayo ya kurun around all the time, sindio? So you're using this energy in your youth to make sure that you set up the systems, ama you set up companies, ama you develop a skill that will be so valuable that in your 50 that is what utakuwa unakulia.
Now how can you develop that skill?
No, listen. Listen to my point. We are not saying what a story that I'm coming to the gatekeeping part. I want you to get my point first. So right now you are doing this, and then you are in kwa field yako ya programming, right? Mimi niko kwa field yangu whatever I'm doing, si ndio? Another person kwa field yake, and we are friends.
Do you know why niko kwa field ya programming?
No, mimi sitaki kujua why you are. I'm giving an example. Can you just listen?
No,
I'm not asking you. I'm not taking reason.
I want you to. You are making me an example.
Listen to my point. Then listen to my. Be a good listener.
I'm listening.
Then be a good. If you ever want to have a good debate, unaelewa kwaga unanyama. You listen and then you get the point and then you interject. You can't interject while I'm pushing my point. So my point is.
I just want to add something on top.
No, don't add on top. Add ukimaliza. That's how you become a good listener. So ukishafika 50, you have your skill, you have your whatever, hata kama ni kampuni ama nini it's running, si ndio? And then you have this kid of yours. Amefika ile age. Anakwambia dad, number one, maybe there's high chances unaweza muenroll kwa kampuni yako, si ndio? Akuwa anakusupport maybe job. Vile waindi ufanya na watu wengine. Si ndio? So unajua automatically because ni mtoi wako, automatically umempatia opportunity kwa job yako. Unaelewa? So hapo already you've locked someone mwenye akona that similar skill ama anaweza taka kujua that skill out of your opportunity yenye mtoi wako amechukua. Now this is the point. Mimi niko na mtoi wangu mwenye hayuko interested na Kenya nimefanya but niko established. But we are friends. Unaelewa? Na mtoi wangu akona interest na programming na anataka kuwa kwa nini, si ndio? Nitakumbuka kabisa hizo anakuwa na kampuni ya programming. Unaelewa? Mtoi wangu amemaliza shule sasa hizi ana form na anataka kufanya kitu. I'll just do a call. There is high chance, 95% chance that we are going to consider based on our friendship. Ya miaka mingi. Unaelewa?
Ile connection
so yes, your connection. So this connection there's a cabal of people when wametoka, unapata wasio walitoka way back in campus. Unaelewa? Mwingine akaenda medicine, mwingine akaenda wapi, mwingine wakasharpen skills over years, mwingine amekuwa CEO wapi, mwingine ana manage hospitali fulani, mwingine amefanya nini. And these people still keep in touch. So when their kids come up, whenever there's an opportunity hata ya attachment, hata mtu wangu amaliza shule hizi kaa tu home, ile hospitali yako usimpatie tu job akwa hapa, hata kama ni receptionist, unajua ana skills sahi. There's high chance nitamwambia akuje. Unaelewa? And I'm going to put him on a basic salary kidogo tu ya kummanage, akigain skill, akinini. So the gatekeeping huwa inakuja in that sense. Na hata wewe sasa hizi ukikuwa na mtu wewe unasikia mtu wako akona interest na mambo na film na nini, there's high chance utasema Peter Collins ni Arif anaweza mpatia nini hapa, unaelewa, ama anataka role. Na mimi siwezi kataa kwa sababu niko very sure pia wewe kuna ka troopers maybe uliwahi nirushia katenda fulani, maybe uliwahi nirushia ka shughuli fulani juu unajua anaweza fanya something like that. So that's how the gatekeeping way inakuja. Si ati inakuja, that's unapata watu wakina Raila, watu wakina Ruto, these people mingle, they give each other deals, unaelewa. Na si ati is because these people they come from way back. Saizi mimi toke na wewe paka niseme we work with you paka niende mali hata ni and God bless maybe niende hata US.
But unajua what I'm trying to say ni in my company I can't hire 1 million people. Nini kimalizo every year watu wenye wanamaliza form 4 is almost 1 million. Watu wana graduate from universities almost 1 million. Let's say it's 2 million people wenye every year wanakuja out here at the job market. And hizi kampuni zetu mbili haziwezi employ all those people. So the government wanafaa kuwa na set up nini opportunities kama ni places za sana, yani jobs. The government wanafaa ku create jobs. Yani imeshindwa ile design yenyewe.
That's not the role of the government. Endelea tu.
Sisi design yenyewe imebidi to create our own companies ni kwa sababu there are no jobs. Inabidi you look for something that you can do based on your skills. So juu hakuna job, I will create my own company, and my company can't hire 2 million people. Neza only 20 ama 50 ama 100. The rest will end up, bro. And this economy inafaa kuraniwa on all those people. We pay taxes every day. Lazima pia ends meet zikuje, we feed our families and everything. We have our personal goals. Lakini the government inafaa like all shakubali walishindwa hii mboka.
No, one thing we must.
So gatekeeping inakuja out of it's a result of no jobs. Hakuna majob. So na gatekeep for the few people who have common interests, some of people you are close with. It's not far from nepotism.
Yeah, it's true. That's nepotism.
Yeah.
But number one thing you must rule out: the government does not create jobs. That's not the work of the government.
What do you mean?
And that's where the youth get it all wrong. The work of the government is not to create jobs. The work of the government, listen.
What do you mean?
The work of the government.
Each government may have for the past 2-3 governments zinakuja zinatuambianga nini? We are going to create jobs for the youths.
Because that is the misinformation. And
creating job for the youths ni kama, for example, hizo stories za housing. Kama housing projects atahitaji like skilled workers wakuja jenge hizo ma houses. That's creating job for the youth. What do you mean government doesn't create jobs for the youth?
And that is where tunasemanga ignorance is bad. Kwa sababu when a politician comes to you and tell you that I create jobs, he's going to provide jobs for you people, that is him that is him taking advantage of your ignorance. But let me explain why the government does not create jobs. The government does not create jobs. The work of the government,
tenders zinaletwangaje bro?
The work of the government is to create a conducive environment for investors and people who would like to so that the investors can thrive and create jobs. Through investors, if you create a conducive environment, investors will come and set up companies. Investors will come and run things. Through those companies and investors, kama saizi unasema wewe, you are creating your brand, your company, right?
Because there's no jobs.
So it is the work of the government to make sure that it has created an enabling environment for you, so that company that you want to create can grow and can at reach some point employ watu wengine. That is the work of the government. That's why the government deals with things like policies.
What about teachers?
That's why
those people are employed by the government.
Now,
doctors.
There are some essential services in any country that the government cannot assign a private organization or a private company to do. One of them is security. Another one is health. The third one is education. Those ones the government cannot delegate. Yes, chukua security ya Kenya iseme sisi tuna security ya Kenya isimamiwe na a private organization. That one the government can't do. That's why the government deliberately employs police, employs jeshi na watu wote. So there are some aspect of it. Listen, there's some aspect of it that the government will deliberately create jobs, not because it wants to be, it's because it's a requirement. Exactly. Because these things you cannot give. But the government cannot create job for you kama wewe mtu umesoma programming. The government cannot now create this a programming nini mkaanza hapa mnafanya vitu zenyu sisi tutakuwa tunawalipa. Wewe unapenda kuiba.
Come on. Usikia you have government websites like e-Citizens. Sijui nini NTSA. Those are government projects zenye programmers like us.
Sawa. Those
programs, they still have
those programs like e-Citizens na nini.
Yeah, they
are created kwa nini? Because there are some services that the government needs to give to their citizens that require such kind of platforms.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, government will create jobs to a certain extent, but the main role of a government, number one role of a government is not to create jobs, is to create a conducive environment for people to invest and to create jobs and to employ people so that people can work.
So in this country, do you think we have that conducive environment that
that is what is not there.
Okay, even the essential one, the required people who should be hired like teachers, doctors, nurses,
civil servants.
Ugoma every year wase wanagoma.
Now that one does not take
so away. Imagine these other people wenye hadi bado they are not even on their payroll. Wenye kwa payroll wanagoma, you know, watu wako internship for like 5 years hajapatiwa like hajakuwa permanent, it's like just a casual worker. So lazima tutafute waindi wenye huko industrial area vijana wetu watafute job na bado wazitoshei.
If the government could have made sure that the services are there, mabarabara ziko sawa, unaelewa, na pesa yenye tunatoa tax, unaelewa, some of these easy tender entrepreneurs, corruption is not there. Tuseme tu corruption in some of these deals na nini easy vitu zote zina happen basi kwa like government ingekuwa ina operate vile inafaa cooperate.
So there is nothing we are gaining from the government for real, for the past 2 years the easy government zote. Miwezi niambia kuna venye inasaidia chenye inanistua ni in the next 10 years kutakuwa kunoma, cause our my youths, if you are 30 in the next 10 years you are 40, let's say even in the next 20 years let's say I have a kid right now, she's 5, ndio the next 20 years atakuwa 25, atakuwa shangia kwa the job market. And remember, job market ya 25 year old right now hawana jobs. if the trend keeps going the same way iko hivi, hata watu wenye tunasema wazee wenye get keep, they won't even have time to get keep cause what are they get keeping if they don't have the jobs to get keep? So imagine wazee wa 2020 2040 watakuwa nakaaje man. Hawana do, they never made money in their 20s huko ma 2020s.
One thing we must admit that, and I think tunaelewana, the system is broken. Everyone knows that. Na mimi sikatai system iko broken. But one thing, if you need to seek knowledge, lazima kuwe na knowledge of how the system should operate vis-a-vis why the system is broken and what needs to be corrected. The problem with many youth,
try to fix it through voting, but it doesn't work.
No, listen, the problem with many youths, they know the system is broken.
The only way we can change the system is through voting.
The problem with many youths, they know the system is broken. Unaelewa? But if you sit them down and tell them, okay, the system is broken, how do you feel like the system should operate?
Changing the leaders.
Unaelewa? But without changing the leaders, tell me how the system should operate without the leaders. Ukitoa leaders kwanza, system inafaa kuoperate.
Yes, operate without the leaders.
Sawa, lakini system inafaa kuoperate in an ideal society. In an ideal society, how should the system operate? That is the information that we need to know. So that if you have that information, hata when you are changing the leaders, you are changing the leaders with the knowledge of this system nataka kuchange. Who leader nataka kumweka. These are the expectations I expect from yeye. You get? So, because at the end of the day, remember, politician, there's a difference between a politician
and a leader.
Mimi nikikuja as a politician, I have my own interest. Unaelewa? Of how maybe I'm going to manipulate that system to my advantage.
Most of them
which most of them do.
Yeah.
So before you vote for this person, you must sit down and wewe mwenyewe kwanza unaelewa hii system vile inafaa kuwa. Ndiye akikuja kukuongelesha, akikwambia vitu about the system,
but
you're like,
you've noticed the Kenyan youth sahi wako rada. You know, even the rise of the Gen Zs ni kwa sababu they were informed.
No, they wako rada, but they don't.
Saini ngumu kuja kudanganya ati sijui you're going to do this. Sahi tunajua kuevaluate leaders man. Tunajua wako wanatupima, we will see.
But no, the youth wako rada atukatai, but they know most of them are due constitution.
But
because everything
you can't
everything starts from the constitution.
Where's compare from way back? Right now
everything starts from the constitution.
People are so informed
like right now mtu anakuambia that whatever is happening in Senate, unasikia msee a young person atakwambia these guys are wasting our time.
They're wasting our time. Me hapa I'm saying that
without understanding the constitution.
We already know the end game, bro. Tunajua how it will end. So wanafaa kutuharakisha hizo vitu kwa TV.
So it doesn't work like that. Kama ni msemo wenye una understand constitution na una understand the processes. Kwa sababu sasa hizi ukishikwa bro. Sasa hizi sema umeshikwa unapelekwa court. Huwezi enda kwa court with this kind of argument.
But I know, but
utataka sheria ikusaidie so that uko free, ndio? So why would you yes, we know the outcome of Gachagua. We all know the outcome of Gachagua. Kwa nini? Why do we know the outcome of Gachagua? Because it's a political process. Exactly. Whether he's right or wrong, politically he has already been, he's done with it. Unaelewa? But why would you feel like Gachagua doesn't deserve that platform ya akuja jitete? Why would you feel like Gachagua doesn't deserve that name? And you see this blanket way of saying these people are wasting our time. That is how when the system now comes for you and imekushike na kufinyilia,
you know,
you can't speak like that.
It's the media inafanya hivyo. You know why? Because you know media ndio wase wana consume the content from whichever part of the country. So if the media 24/7 wanatusundia tu, it's just unaamka asubuhi just in politics. And ngoja kwanza, and we have the real issues. Unaamka people tujasahau story ya Adani bro. Tujasahau story ya MPs kuwa shifted, the CSS and everything. So tunakiwa hii stuff ingine to just to shift our minds from the important stuff. Now we are on politics. Right now we are on politics and
it's politics.
It doesn't
it's politics, and I agree.
You know, if let me tell you one thing. If Gachagua goes ama Gachagua stays, it doesn't affect price ya unga.
That's very true.
So they are wasting our time. That's why I'm saying they're wasting our time. They need to bring us some real issues.
Now listen to me. This is why ignorance is bad. Kwa sababu kwa katiba kuna kitu inaitwa citizen, this constitution kuna right of information. It's enshrined in the constitution.
Yeah, I
Listen,
know.
so the right to information, what the media is doing, the media are just performing their constitutional mandate.
We have
Because-
newspapers, man. You put them on newspapers,
it
will
doesn't
buy,
work
man.
like
Lakini
that.
yenye, you know, the media bro, unachikia venye Nigerian music lingia Kenya. Acha nikwambie venye Nigerian through the media walikam na Afro cinema kwanza. Ikuja na muziki kwanza, ilikam na movies. So we started liking their movies, kwanza kucheki ngoma zao nini on their soundtracks, una ngoma kidogo. Ile point waliingiza muziki yao, it was very easy for them to penetrate their songs because tukashajua their culture. So we knew their culture and everything because over the years we have been tunafidwa to Afro cinema, Nigerian movies. So when the time Afrobeats zinakuja, akina Burna Boy and everything, it was so easy for them for Kenyans to fall in love with their music. We fall in love with their movies. And in its strategy. So the same way I say, like, they're feeding us politics and everything. Wataki we see the main issues like bro, we are past that.
Okay,
we are so informed right now.
Listen.
If I see,
I want to enlighten you today. And number one, I want to tell you what the media is doing. Hawafanyi makosa. The right to information is there in the constitution. Whether it is through press.
Hawafanyi makosa. What I'm trying to say ni,
whether it is through
I gave
press,
that
media,
analogy of Nigerian music kwa sababu how the media will influence even the music that we're consuming.
Media will influence a lot of
exactly.
stuff. I understand.
Exactly.
But okay, one we must agree, these guys, they are just doing their constitutional mandate. Because remember, hata sasa ukiona parliament proceedings are always live. If you follow, even before history ya Gachagua, parliament proceedings are always live. Whenever someone is being interviewed, kama CS juzi alikuwa anakuwa vetted, that process was live.
That should be
another thing.
I
Judicial, whenever they are vetting judges na nini, it's always live. Those things are kwa sababu it is there in the constitution. One way of freedom of access to information can be guaranteed is through such things. It's through media, it's through your media, press, ya paper, ya gazeti na everything. So media, they are playing their part. And then another thing unasema media na to feed only politics.
Politics.
Do you know there are programs that media run like Shamba Shepa?
Yeah, we have seen that program.
Those things
it
are
helps
there.
Farmers.
There are those programs that they run on their normal programs and everything. So the media does not only feed you on politics. It's only that where you choose to focus on whatever you choose to focus. Kwa sababu,
no. What I'm saying
kwa sababu saizi
there is normal programming zenye zinawa kwa media, but as soon as kuna some political tension in the country, now everything was in a shift. Not take care of the normal programming quick follow.
Because
they are being interrupted. Now it's just politics are being
now
fed.
Let me tell you. Is the impeachment of Gachagua not something important for the country?
It doesn't help the economy. I feel
this is the first.
I feel Gachagua staying or not staying, manze, it doesn't help a lot of Kenyans.
Now listen,
manze.
everything. Of course, it doesn't help Kenya.
Kama inamsaidia economy yetu
but
kitapanda, then
not everything. Not everything.
This is just political rhymes.
Yes, not everything in the country. Kwa country kuna kitu inaitwa social life, kuna economic aspect na kuna the political aspect.
Yeah.
They are all important in any country. Hakuna country haina siasa. Hakuna country haina social life. Na hakuna country haina economy.
But there is time for everything.
That's why nasema
it's 2 years down the line, bro, since we brought this government in. But look at what is happening.
That's why nasema hivi. As much as all these things are important, we must agree that this is the first time, even I think it's the first time in Africa, a country is impeaching a deputy president for litigation. It is a test of our constitution. Number one, we want to test our constitution. We want to stretch our constitution. We understand how far can we stretch this constitution. Those are very, very important things. Kwa sababu this thing, this impeachment of a deputy president will set basis for the future. Even the people will come and say that at some point, a deputy president was impeached and these were the ground. That's why you see, when you listen to lawyers argue in court, let me explain to you. When you listen to lawyers argue in court, they always cite cases in the UK, in the US, something happened in India, another case. Why do they do that? Because there are some cases that are very monumental in shaping the mindset of a society and the constitution and the rule of law in any country, or even beyond the country. So this process, it's an important process. Kwa nini is an important process? Kwa sababu we want to understand is this the threshold of impeaching a deputy governor? Does this meet the threshold of impeaching a deputy governor? Is it law or these are things that are important. You can't just sit here na unasema ngoja tu huwezi kaa tu unasema tu asaidie economy. Yes, it's not important for the economy, but is it important? But is this important for the constitution?
It's important for those people.
For the constitution. Answer my question.
The men in suits. It's important for them. Acha nikwambie, in the times of Kibaki, didn't even have a deputy president.
We did have a deputy president.
It was ilikuwa ni vice.
Why did you have a vice and not a deputy? Is like a vice. The only the difference was the constitution.
Prime minister, vice and nini. But at the same time, bado Kibaki was doing his work your time.
But we had a constitution.
You had almost like 3 people kwa hiyo because prime minister, vice and
but we had a constitution.
But let me tell you something. Constitution kuja 2010. Sindio?
Bro, tumekuwa na constitution from 19.
No, I'm saying nasema hii constitution yenye the new constitution that
but the other constitution pia
ilikuwa but it's ndio iko kazi na committee of experts and they did the referendum watu wakakubali tukakuja na new constitution sindio. What I'm trying to say ni we still had people president ama leaders who are working bila hizi kashile zote za politics. Buddha, it's 2 years only since we put this government in place, Buddha. But chenye imekuwa kiape ni Gen Z protest nini sijui whatever adani kidogo deputy impeachment. Hatusikii story kuna barabara inajengwa ama kuna SGR fulani imetoka Mumias inaingia nini. Bro, it's too much politics in the span of 2 years and no progress or development in this country. Daily live proceedings, sijui adani imefanya nini. Daily sijui somebody is being impeached. Kidogo the CS have been changed. What the fuck, man? Tunataka kusikia manzere kuna dam fulani imechimbwa huko sio Kimao Rev. Tunataka kama watu hii jobs manze. Watu wanamaliza shule ndio watu wanaenda kufanya KCSE in a few weeks bro. Wakimaliza KCSE watakuja hapo wakalia dimanga. It's sad, me anawaambia this sad news bro. Because of our system. We don't focus on the most important. Umetuambia we have 3 aspects. The social life, the economic life and the political. We are so much on the political life than the economic to bring the economy of our country ikuje like we grow. You know the growth inaangaliwa na GDP. Don't look at how political you guys are.
No, listen to me. Mimi nimekuelewa. And I think we all agree that whatever this government has not done enough for us. I think sisi wote tunaelewana hapo. Mimi sikatai.
Enough. We haven't done anything.
We shouldn't be doing politics at this point.
Exactly. It's year 2. We need like year 5 huko manze 2027 to tuanze.
We are in agreement on that.
Yeah.
My only argument is at the end of the day whether it is because remember our leaders ndio tunawachagua. So makosa pia ni yetu. We also take the blame. Kwa sababu Ruto hakujipeleka kwa debe akajipigia.
That's true. Partly it's our problem.
So now this is my point. At the end of the day, whether the leaders are wrong, whether they are doing whatever they are supposed to do and nini, we have a constitution.
But we chose them based on their manifesto.
We thought that's what I say. At the end of the day, we have a constitution. Unaelewa? And for you to govern, you need a constitution. Unaelewa? And that constitution has set some clear guidelines on how things should be done.
But you should remember, it is the people first, then the constitution, then the president.
The constitution says one thing. This constitution, remember.
The people first.
Listen. This constitution, sisi ndo tulijipea.
True.
So the constitution is what should guide us. If you want to take power back, the constitution allows us to take that power back. That everything you're saying is right. We have a constitution in sisi wenyewe tulijipea. The constitution says the sovereignty of the power belongs to the people and they can exercise it directly or indirectly.
Exactly.
But right now we are exercising that power indirectly. And how are doing it indirectly? Through our elected leaders. So and the Senate, through the parliament, the Senate and the judiciary. Those are how to delegate to exercise your power. So those people, they are guided. The constitution also guides them in how they should operate. Unaelewa? So whatever they are doing, whatever is happening, as much as it's a waste because we already know the outcome. We already know the outcome. But the Senate is just doing what is required by the constitution. And the press, the media house are also performing what the constitution requires of them. Because remember, this constitution, sisi ndo tulijipea. So how they are not operating on their own constitution. So admit that, yes, this politics should not be done at this point.
Exactly.
We all admit that.
bro, tuko na so much you remember when you're in school, mwalimu anakuja class anakuambia everybody, kila mtu afungue kitabu yake, nataka kuona penye umechora diagram, na tujachora diagram sisi Kenya. You know, 40 is how many people were found dead kwa kware, ijai kwa solve. Sijui nani akahepa, ijai kwa solve. We have stories of people shot during the protest that have not been solved.
But one thing,
CSS waliletwa kwa cabinet manze, bado tujacheki kitu ya maana wanatufanyia bro. Like we have so much that nikiona media 24/7 impeachment mnatuonyesha tu kwa screen, man.
But one thing we must take note that at the end of the day, Kenya is fucked up. And there are so many others.
But we can unfuck it, bro. Like we have ways tunaweza kuja, we put it right, man.
What are some of the ways?
These people are gatekeeping. I don't want to gatekeep.
So how do we do away with them?
We do away with everybody. Yani tunafagia wote.
How? Now the question is how.
First of all, I don't have all the answers.
So you have the answers for something that you want to do.
No, nasema I don't have all. I have some answers.
Give us some of the answers.
No, kitu kwanza ni us. You need to kuwatoanisha through voting. That's one thing. But what happens through voting?
How do you remove them through voting?
Through voting ni vijana.
Because the constitution guarantees them the right to stand for an elective seat.
Yeah, but
so explain to us how they should.
Through voting ni vijana wanapata civic education. Wanajua venye constitution venye leaders wao wanafaa. Unajua mimi naonanga siku hizi MP amejenga barabara, unampigia makofi. Amejenga barabara. Makofi gani bro? It's like your dad ameleta food kejani alafu unaanza kupigia. Wait, let me just acha nimalize. It's like your dad kuja na food kejani, then uanze kupigia babako makofi ati daddy umekuja na food. No. It's your responsibility. You are the dad. You need to bring food here. Like tuweze pigia makofi kuleta chakula kwa nyumba. Zamaliza. So the next thing, ukijenga barabara kwa mtaa, bro, you don't deserve to launch kama atukupigi makofi. It's your work. Ukileta job mtaani, umeleta tank nini, it's your responsibility. That's what tumekweka hapo. So gavas naonanga wana make big launches, wametengeneza sijui nini. It's your work.
Do you know it is not the work of a member of parliament kutengeneza barabara?
No, niko na pen to example. Kuna barabara za constitutions, kuna zile za national government. Kuna ile ya Kenya
there's nowhere whether your county, whether at the ward, whether there's nowhere a member of parliament
but wakona obligation ya kuangalia barabara gani zifaa kutengenezwa kwa wards ama constituency zao, wapeleke nini mbele, then if the funds come watai oversee kikuja kutengeneza.
No, they are not supposed even to oversee constructions of barabara. That's not the work of a legislator.
Then mbona kina wherever MPs wana launch barabara kwa nini the governor
now it goes back to what I told you. Ignorance of the constitution.
Lakini sawa, whatever iko ni governor MP nini, barabara inafaa kujengwa kwa hizi street.
Tunaongea about MPs.
Wait, but we're talking about leaders, whether ni MCA ama governor ama president, whether ni kazi ya barabara inafaa kujengwa, and those people, mimi si MP ama MCA ama nini, we put somebody there ndio tuangalie mambo kama hizo zenye zinafaa kufanya. And sisi ukifanya kazi hatufai kupigia makofi. It's your responsibility. Hatufai kwa tunakubeg latest nini. Mtoto wako sasa akitaka pencil, it's your responsibility to buy your pencil. It's your responsibility because you are the dad. You are responsible. Unaona?
It still goes back to my point here, ignorance. See, the citizens are ignorant about their constitution and what this one is supposed to do and this one is not supposed to do.
You ask, uliniuliza swali how we can get we can be unfact through voting the right leaders. Kitu ya pili ni kwa civic education. Like uko educated through years, unasema the constitution, unajua your rights and everything, the work of the employees and the laws of the country. Like unafaa kwa rada. Ndio mtu akikuleta kujaribu stories of bribing ama nepotism or whatever corruption, you know this is wrong and this is right. Si ndio? Nikienda ID sifai kutisha pesa fulani. Nikienda nini?
How do you know a right leader before you vote for him?
Now in this country we only know a right leader after tushamsunda pale. That's the sad state, because kila mtu anakuja na manifesto yake and then the citizen will gauge manifesto ya nani ndio mpoa, I love to tumvotie, si ndio? But the issue is our manifesto fiti. Bro, our president will come with a very good manifesto which people believed in and people voted for him.
Now let me tell
but
you.
hakuna stuff inaendelea like this.
Let me tell you why.
Sema tu kweli.
Let me tell you what people make mistake. People make mistake because of hiyo vile unasema.
Alafu ile mtu wetu mentality pia.
Hata mtu wetu kwanza.
Si ndio?
But is a point.
Yeah.
So number one mistake in watu ufanya ni one. You vote for a leader based on the manifesto and everything, but you fail to do some background check on that leader. There's a reason why I didn't.
But we have new leaders.
Okay, there's a reason. Listen.
If it's a new leader, Jacob politics.
Listen, there's a reason why. Whether you have never been in politics ama nini, umegrow. There's a where kuna mahali uligrow, kuna mahali uliwahi fanya kazi. There's a track record of your journey towards where kusimama hiyo kitu. So as a responsible citizen, if I don't know this person, kama unanikujia capsizer, unaelewa that unataka kusimama kiti, it is upon me as a responsible citizen and a voter to come and sit down and do some research on you. Nijue huyu capsizer aligrow wapi, alilelewa wapi, hii pesa yako nayo alipatanga aje. You can always, kama ulikuwa unanyanyasa watu Kayole ndio upate wealth yako, si utakuwa unasikia story.
Yeah, definitely.
So we fail to do some background checks on these people. A good example ni Ruto. Ruto has never been employed anywhere apart from here kukuwa member of parliament tangu atoke university. You get? But the guy is a billionaire. How do you become a billionaire like that? Those are some of the questions you as a citizen, you need to sit down and ask yourself, does this thing make sense? Who mtu amekuwa member of parliament? He has never been employed. He has never done anything.
But
and then another thing, listen,
you should not be employed that is how.
I'm giving you an example because this one should form your decision in terms of understanding. First, kama mtu hajai kuwa employed, how did this guy become a billionaire? I'm curious to know. Nitataka ku find out how does a member of parliament, just a member of parliament, rise to be a billionaire? You get? Because being a billionaire is not easy.
No, but a billionaire can be an MP if he was.
Sijakata.
So you have a lot of billionaires.
Sijakata. I'm just saying that before akuwe umchague, you do some background checks
I agree
on this person. Unaangalia vile ametembea, unaangalia places alikuwa members of parliament, some of the developments alifanya, some of the things, some of the story, and those ones should inform your decision that in spite of whom kuniletea manifesto inakaa imetoka mbinguni. You get? The character of this person based on his history does not show me any confidence that it's going to fulfill some of the things that make up. And that is the mistake that youth wengi wali make. And that's why they ended up voting for Ruto, and in less than 2 years they started to complain.
You need to remember there are people with very good backgrounds. Unaona? But as soon as umepatia kiti, they get sucked with the system.
There's a reason why such things happen. You get? There's a way sometimes if you get into the system, you find you are surrounded by very corrupt individuals to a point whereby you realize you can't do anything.
For real, exactly.
You get? So sometimes you just end up flowing with the vile vitu ziko because you can't change it. And that's why unaonanga sometimes for you to change the system, you either be president, because if hata deputy you can't change it. Kwa sababu the final decision will be with the president. So sometimes that's why mtu anasemanga, in this country, if I want to change it, if I'm not going to be the president, then I'd rather not be anything. Unaelewa? So all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, the youths waliblanda. They didn't sit back, wakasoma, huu ni mtu mgani tunakutia. And that's why you see they are complaining. But people, then that's why naambiaga watu, mimi I'm in research. Unaelewa? I've been in research. And I understand the importance of research. Maybe I analyze people before I make a decision.
Exactly.
And that's why I made my decision. Nili analyze Ruto. Nikaangalia history yake, nikaangalia everything, nikaangalia pia testimonials za watu wenye mali penye aligrow na kila kitu, nikasema all these people can't be wrong. Unaelewa? And all these people can't be nini against this person. This person does not have the right name of being. And you see, I've been proven less than 2 years. Less than 2 years everyone is complaining. So this is what I'll like to tell the young people. Those people who want to vote, the Gen Zs when you're voting in the next election. Don't take things at the face value. Take your time and study. Mtu akikwambia anataka kusimama, hata kama ni MCA, angalia kama unaona anatembeanga na guns akipiga watu hapa hivi. Huyo mtu akipata kiti, bado atakuwa na guns. In fact ataongeza the number of guns. Hakuna kitu utamwambia.
Exactly.
So don't be taken, usibebwe na hype ati mzee anakuja mtaa yako ati anaonyesha nini na nini. Soma. Ukiona mzee ako na questionable character, don't vote for that person. And that's how you elect right people. And how will the system change? The system will not change immediately. It will take years. Kwa sababu at the end of the day, Wakenya ni wale. As much as nyinyi hii constitution mta elect mtu mzuri, wengine wata elect mtu mbaya. Unaelewa?
Unajua
So
reason gani?
it will be a cocktail of means. So ndio to do away with this thing, it will take time.
Now, the reason why people elect bad leaders, one of the reasons is poverty. Hata ndio maana ndo waseme ndio maandamano. Most people wenye wenda achana ni maandamano ya juzi ili tu kila mtu. But ile maandamano zingine za kitambo ilikuwa watu wanachotewa. Unachotewa punch. Lakini wewe niambie Collins, uko nao punch. Mtu hawezi kuja kuambia ati sijui amka twende sijui wapi.
Hata kama sina punch style.
Yeah, those one mtu maybe akona policies zake zanafuata. But most people utapata mtu anaishi huko ghetto ndani. Unaona, yamemvot na dhao mbili inatoka. Hata amka jona joe dhao mbili ita fix maybe even the rent, ama it fix food for some few weeks. So kitu wa kwanza ni watu wanakuanga corrupted by this hadi kabla leader ingie.
Now just
unacheki ana take advantage, anajua there is something that you know in Kenya most of the population kuna different kind of we live in we have basic needs. Sindio? Then kuna zile wants. Like you don't really need it but you want it, like a car. Unaona? Kuna place you don't need a car uko ghetto but maybe you want. That's a want. Alafu kuna set the dreams. Like but most Kenyans in these three categories, most Kenyans wanna live on the needs part. Let me just finish. Wajamaliza they are to get all the needs like food, shelter and clothing. So mtu kama mwenye bado kwa needs era of his life, it's very easy kuja kumconvince. Alafu Kenyans, most of them wana jobs and everything. They will be needy. Wanadai food, wanadai something on the table and everything. So many kuja na dhao mbili. Niambia sasa kuna forma. Kuna campaign fulani watatoka. Kuvuruda mzee. Na kufanya hivyo ndakuja tena doni kuambia cheki wewe votia huyo mtu wetu. Yeah, alafu kumvotia it's true, sindio?
Yeah, politicians are taking advantage of people's poverty.
Exactly. So imagine if we create jobs. Yani mimi nalia story ya jobs kwa nini? Whether it's self-employment ama you're employed. But if ile moment yenye we reduce the job gap ya country yetu bro, even politicians hawatakuwa na place pa kukulia. So they just want to keep us poor so that they can control us. Wanataka keep on the needy part. Wanataka ufike hata kwa once bro, wanataka kununua bima or anything. Wana believe kijana wezi wa mwaka mpaka ufike 40. Wana fuck that man. Mimi najua kijana unaweza make it at 34 before hata ufike 40. You can make it, you can even be a billionaire. Unaweza kuwa millionaire bro at 20s. We've seen people like that. But politicians wanataka, they want you to keep you poor ndio waweze kucontrol. Bila time wanakutaka tunataka kama hitman 100. Wanajua pale Kayole watapata vijana 100 wenye wamekalia dimanga wapate hiyo do. That's 100. Kama ni 1000 ni 100k. Wameshamaliza.
But anyway, what you're saying is real. It's true and it's factual.
If the government mimi naona saa zingine ni deliberately yani intentionally wanafanya hivyo to keep us poor ndo watu control. Ushaona mtu wa Karen anafanya maandamano ama Lavington ama Lawrence utawaona kitu kama hiyo.
The reason why unasikiaga ati the government kazi yake mostly is to create a conducive environment is because when Kibaki alisema ata provide 1 million jobs. Unakumbuka? So when he said that ata provide 1 million jobs, how did Kibaki do that? The only thing Kibaki alifanya, alienda katoa tax on motorbikes. Alitoa completely, sio kama alitoa ama alipunguza, alitoa tax on motorbikes
Though ikakuwa tax ya boda.
So boda motorbikes zikakuwa very cheap kuimport na kuleta Kenya. And that's how tukakuwa na boda sector ika thrive in this country.
It has helped a lot.
That's why kuna boda sector saa hizi. It's simply because Kibaki just made a decision ya kutoa tax.
Paka NTSA wako na their
sawa.
The number places za boda
different from the name. Exactly. Simply because a president alikaa chini akasema natoa tu hii kitu. Unaelewa ama napunguza.
And it's so
actually what he did alitoa. So that's when nakwambia at the end of the day
we need policies like
that's why at the end of the day nakwambia government need policies. When the government sits down and wants to do something, they can do. If the government wants to provide free education completely free from primary to the university, it can be they have the capability,
but they're keeping us poor kwa nini?
That's when I compare at the end of the day it narrowed down to leaders, the kind of leaders you select. and the kind of visions they have for their country. Kwa sababu most of these leaders mnachagua, they have their own interest. Hakuna mtu akona interest ya country. You get? So that's where the mistake is. The mistake is not on the mistake is on you people. We the people. That's where the mistake is. Once we change our mindset, tuseme cause bro, saizi kuna mtu atasema mimi hata kama nimesota sina do, lakini siwezi enda maandamano. Ama siwezi enda kusikiza politician fulani. Hata kama nimesota aje, mimi nikae kwa nyumba, kwani nitakufa njaa, siwezi ndakosa food leo, kesho nitapata. Unaelewa?
Ni mtu mwenye ako na hizo.
That's what nakwambia. Once you are principled enough and you understand yourself. Unaelewa? And that is the point whereby we as Kenyans lazima tufike hiyo point. Such that politicians were easy to influence.
But they are keeping us that way or providing
for their own benefit.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it is the leaders. Na all leaders sisi ndio tumewachagua. So don't blame them.
Inaturudisha back to the main topic tulianza nayo, gatekeeping. The government wanna gatekeep. Gatekeep the jobs, bro.
Sasa wana gatekeep aje?
So what the gatekeeping opportunities. Wanajua tukiweka hizi policies itabenefit wase iwafungue akili, alafu watakuwa nafuata masharti. Unaona? Yeah. Ni kama mtu wako kishafika teenager, unajua sasa inaonga teenager inaonga tricky kwa sababu mtu ashaanza kugrow brain and everything.
It is a tool. That is also a tool of controlling the masses.
Exactly.
Kwa sababu remember this is for government to be in control, ama for government to be seen to exist, it must have some level of control.
Exactly.
So whatever they are doing, as much as it's wrong, and it's wrong, unaelewa?
It's wrong.
The approach is wrong, but they are doing it that way because they want to feel like they are in control. It's wrong. Hatukatai it's wrong. Unaelewa?
But what people want is just good leadership. Really control. Labda maybe
now,
in future.
Now, before tumalize, jana nikumbuke. Just a quick one. Ndio tumalize hii story. What's your take on Morara? Very short.
In terms of
vile tu namuona vile amekuwa kimove na David.
Mimi kwangu is still learning bado.
Is he a politician or a leader?
Is a student. Bado hajakuwa a leader or a politician. Yeah. Kama in politics is still learning. Leadership is still learning.
And Kasmuel?
Same way. Kasmuel ni yako form 1, mwingine ako form 4. Like so they wako the same school. So they are still learning.
Okay, this is what I like to tell people. Morara is a politician. And I'm telling Kenyans outside there. I know they might bash me for this, but trust Morara at your own risk. Morara is a full politician. You get? Morara is a full politician, and he started, alianza vizuri the same way akina Babu alianza. Unaelewa? And then Babu ended up being a politician. Morara is following the same path. Kasmuel is not a politician, neither is he a leader. He's just someone mwenye we like amekuwa famous because of that way. Yeah, Gen Z and the way he was doing the nice suits and everything, and his English is top notch. Unaelewa? The way he's communicating, unaelewa? But he's not anywhere in leadership or in politics. He's not a politician. He's just someone when I'm very sure with the time atakuwa done what atamsahau. But Morara is going to be here for a very long time. But as a politician, Morara is not going to help you Kenyans. That is take it from me. Look at how he's moving. Unaelewa? Look at how he's doing his thing. Look at how he's being combative. Unaelewa?
Nobody's going to help Kenyans. If you want to study it's only Kenyans who are going to help Kenyans.
If you want to know a politician, angalia vile ako combative. Angalia vile his argument. Angalia how he's trying to push his thing. You know this is a politician. He just want to be, anataka tu pia apate nafasi kwa hiyo meza. You get? And that's what they do. Ana fight paka yeye mwenyewe anasema, umepiga kelele sana buda, kuja ukaya hapa. Shida yako ni unataka mchele chika. That's what he doing. Kama tu kienda sherehe, unaona kuna wengine uzusha paka wapewe food ndio apige. That's what Morara is doing. But anyway, bro, this is not even a recap, man. Yeye nafai kwa hata full.
Yeah, man. Acha tuende kama dinayo. You know, but the state of our country imekuwa messed up for a while.
It's a good discussion.
You know, in some we need to sit down and put all the entertainment and talk about serious stuff. So you know, because inatenda to affect if this curve keeps going on. Me nalilia sorry a job employment because I have so many friends who are unemployed. And pia mimi if it's not creating something for myself I'll be in the same spot yani
ungekuwa juu ya mawe
ningekuwa juu dimanga deadly hapo manze.
So
lazima
it has been a nice episode man.
Yeah man, it's
so wacha tuseme tu ni episode man. It has been a nice episode. Tuliasahau kuambia wasao subscribe. Guzeni
subscribe manze, you guys that we are growing together. Tuguze hapo watu tao, si ndio? Tukieni watu tao hapa alafu at least tuweke hapa hata tusherehekee.
So guys, till next time manze, make sure umesubscribe
Yeah, it's the Hangout podcast
kama kawaida baadaye.